Sunday, the March the 29th, I think. There's the date. It's days are getting away from us. Just saw that it looks like we're going to have yet another month of this. But guess what? I'll be here with you, reading stories, answering questions. If you ever want me to do something different, just send me a message, and I can always read some beyond stories. Just start talking. We can just have like a little session where we talk about things. But that being said, let's get into our story today. I decided to do something with a long title. We've had this on our bookshelf forever, and I'm not going to lie. That's my first time to ever read it. So I read this just a little bit ago. I'm like, okay, I've had days like this before. And sometimes I think it's okay to think about having days like this. Just go ahead, and if you have those bad days, just go for it, whatever. Just deal with it. I'll tell you, it's kind of windy. I know last night we had some really bad wind. But so if you see me kind of grab from my computer, it's just because, hey, the wind has actually been pushing my laptop around a little bit. But I want to get outside in this beautiful weather, and then also take a gander at my really tall grass, which you all can't see, but it is a surprise. I feel like I'm like in the weeds here. But that being said, let's get to our story of Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. It's kind of a hard thing to try to remember to say. Here we go. This is by Judith Viorst, illustrated by Ray Cruz. Here we go. And as always, you can find all the specifics about these books in there. This is AR. This is an AR book, but like I said, you can always find the write-up and everything, the ISBN number and everything in the notes at the bottom, and it can tell you how if you want to order one of these books, just go ahead and order one off of one of our Amazon sites. And I'm feeling Amazon's going to become really popular in a few days once the stimulus package goes through. But that being said, let's go for it. Here we go. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard. By mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I read this, I feel like I should get angry because I've had these days. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window, too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Who needs those extra numbers? I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moyo was his best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. "Come back next week and we'll fix it," said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, "I'm going to Australia." On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby, and I'm getting a little irritated. While I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. No one even answered. This is not even nice. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But then the shoe man said, "We're all sold out." They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas, and I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. He's sleeping right there. Well, that's a fun story. But I think we've all had days like that. I know for me, and I've told my kids at school, there are certain things sometimes that just make me just crazy mad for no good reason. Is there anything that makes you crazy mad? I know for me, it is, this will sound silly, is if I'm making my cereal like he was doing, and I spill my milk. If I spill my milk, oh, I just get mad. I don't know why, but I do, and I just don't like it. I've told people that all the time. It's a silly thing to be mad about, but that sometimes will set my day off. But the key is to not let it ruin your day, to make sure you have a good day. Make sure like you're able to say, okay, you know what? That stunk, and I don't like it. I spilled my milk. I walked to the car, and I forgot my backpack inside, so I had to go back inside and unlock the door and get the backpack and lock the door. Oh, but I was already running late. There's so many things. But the key is, what did you do when you got to school, or when you got to, maybe you're going to your work, or you're going to a babysitter or something. What did you do to improve your day? Up here, in the middle of all this, we can still have bad days, even though we're kind of quarantined in our houses. You can still have a bad day. But what can you do to stop it from becoming a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day? The choice is up to you. It's all on how you set your mind. So this, hope everybody, stays safe out there. Make sure you practice your good social distancing. If you're coughing into your elbow, like I try and remember to do. Not touching your face as much, which I'm terrible at, but I'm trying to work on. If you go out in public, make sure there's not more than 10 people. If you're going to go to a store, and if you don't have to go in there, if you can wait and you see there's a gazillion cars, make that wait. We're trying to kind of slow this virus down. So do what you can to help protect yourself and protect others. Stay safe out there, and I will see everybody later. And until tomorrow,